What happens when the doctors don't know the answer? Who do you turn to? This is one of the frustrations we see patients go through in the healthcare system. Hi, my name is Jenny Nguyen. I'm a registered nurse and a health nutrition coach. As someone who has my own challenges, I learned that, um, I need to be the one to take care of my own health and well-being and actually become my own source of healing. And I want to empower women who are mothers with young children to do the same because they're the key person in the family to do it. So today I have a special guest with me, Seetal Patel. She's brilliant, funny, and caring, and she's a registered nurse and a holistic nutritionist. So Seetal is someone I see as who embrace the science and the art of healthy living. Welcome, Seetal.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's great. I've been a nurse for 14 years now. Most of my experience is in the emergency department. And over the last couple of years, probably since 2020, I've switched over more to the holistic health aspect and went back to school for nutrition, studied about the importance of like what we eat and what we put into our bodies, whether it's like food, like oxygen, or just like what we look at and the information we intake. All those things kind of affect our health in the overall in the end. It's like how we affect it, but like the medical fields don't always see it like that. It's kind of
that is so true because as you and I know, we work together, and then there's so much focus on medication as a treatment. So like in terms of that, what do you see like is some of the problem or the limitation to our healthcare system that actually doesn't align with like, improving people's health?
I find that our healthcare system is more focused on treating the symptoms and treating the issues that we're having. It doesn't actually look at finding the root cause as to what's going on in somebody that is causing them to have these symptoms. So we're pushing medications like antibiotics, acid reflux medications, all these things that aren't actually solving the problem. They are in the end making it worse because we're just masking symptoms, masking issues that might be there by like hushing the symptoms. So we feel like we're okay, but inside we're not.
I love how you're saying hushing the symptoms.
And because society has also become that people want a magic pill. They want a pill that's going to fix everything, but they don't realize it's looking at everything, a grand scheme of things, like your sleep, what you eat, what you like, your hobbies, your lifestyle. Do you get any sort of physical activity? Are you sleeping 8 hours? Are you just sitting and on a screen all the time where you're not, where you're absorbing all the Blu-ray light and messing up your cord? Like there's so many things that people don't realize that we can modify or change in our life that will make our health better rather than just taking pills or like masking these symptoms. And that's it's a big problem these days.
I love it how you look at health from a holistic approach, like you mentioned, sleeping, exercising, the screen, the lifestyle, what kind of work they do, right? It's not just focused solely on nutrition, which is a big part of our health, but it's not just not the only thing, right?
It's a combination of everything that you mix together. Like there's no one thing that's going to fix you, but it's a matter of finding a balance in your life and not overstressing yourself, not overworking yourself, not paying attention to your body, I guess, and realizing what you're feeling and why you might be feeling those things. It's kind of learning to slow down and stop and pay attention to it. I find, especially as nurses, we forget about ourselves. As females, nurses, moms, the caretakers of the family, there's no you because they're busy dealing with everything else, and we forget to eat the right types of foods. We forget to drink water. You're living off of caffeine and like no sleep, and it's it's hard. It's hard.
I think, Seetal, you're really hitting not only at the thing where it affects the healthcare, the women who are healthcare
Yeah.
workers, but at the same time, just women in general as well too. Like, it's true. Like, we look after everybody except for ourselves. We put our children first, our husband first, our parents-in-law first, depending on what culture.
Yeah, we forget about ourselves, and then we're busy doing so many things, but none of it is actually for yourself. And you like, how can you keep giving if you have nothing left to give? Is what it is. And I think that's a lot of what nursing has become too. It's like the nurses are all tired, they're burnt out, they're working crazy shifts, nights and days, and it's just like the healthcare system is doing that to the people who are supposed to be taking care of people. So it's like a broken system in that, It's
Yeah.
like,
So who's taking care of the caregiver? That's looking
yeah,
after.
yeah. So it's yeah.
So what, in terms of that, like, how has, like, from your understanding of holistic nutrition, how is that helping? Like, what are some of the things that you think would be able to help these women who are, overstressed, overworked, and not having enough self-care? Like, what like one or two key action that they can start, like, right away, that they can look after themselves?
I would say important is sleep. Try and get
Yeah.
8 hours of sleep a night every night. Like instead of being on the phone at night, like scrolling to make up time for not being like having your own time, you kind of just go to sleep instead. Like sleep, set a sleep time 10 p.m. and then try and wake up for 6 and kind of set a routine so you're getting enough sleep so your cortisol levels aren't really high, which causes a lot of other issues like weight gain, insulin resistance, and
Yeah.
these other things, right? So that would be a good thing. And drinking enough water,
Yeah.
taking fluids, and just eating fresh whole foods. More fresh whole foods is a important thing. There's lots of things I could talk about. Like,
Yeah, I know, but I love how you point out. It's so true though, because the sleep and the cortisol, cortisol is such a big hormone that affects really our whole metabolic system.
yeah,
And also for people who want to lose weight, they're having a hard time when they're under stress, right?
right.
Just sleep itself, like without enough sleep, can actually trigger people to make those, not only internally, but make those decisions like, fine, I'm going to have that donut instead of eating that healthy food because
Yeah,
they're under stress, right? From the
yeah.
lack of sleep.
And it's hard, and you just want something quick and easy to go. So you grab obviously the easier thing, which is the sweets and the pastries, rather than like looking for the fruits and the veggies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how has these habits, these suggestions that you given, how has this helped your life in general? Like,
For me, it's
yeah,
created a huge difference. So I worked in the emergency department for 10 years, where I was doing night shifts, day shifts,
you look
overtime.
like 10 yourself,
I feel like the changes I've made in my life have created like really improved my health, my mental health, my physical health, and like my emotional health. I've just learned to like kind of make sure to put all these things first for myself. And in the hospital, we work ourselves crazy, and then we're constantly getting sick over and over, like colds, catching little colds or flus, or just tired, like
Yeah.
physically drained. And it's so hard to keep going. But I find once I've started eating healthier, eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, getting the sleep, drinking lots of water, and just kind of focusing on creating a proper routine for myself, that's when I started to notice a change in my health and well-being. I also had a bunch of digestive issues ever since I was a child, like IBS, constipation, and all
Yeah.
those things were kind of made worse with nursing, I guess, just from the sleep patterns and the
Yeah.
not eating properly, eating at random times of night, and bad foods, because on a night shift you just want fast food, right? And
Yeah.
then
Well, there's not much options available that's healthy at nighttime as well.
so it's just all that kind of created even more horrible problems, where I was always bloated. I was always like just not feeling good. And because I couldn't go to the bathroom properly, I just felt so like, ugh, all the time, But which I realize now is what leaky gut is. And that's how we are we can get autoimmune diseases and illnesses. And I was starting to get like sores and skin issues from my poor health. And then it wasn't until I changed my diet and started eating way more fresh fruits and vegetables and just kind of more protein and the right
Yeah.
types of fats that all of this kind of cleared up. I even did a parasite cleanse, which is another thing that we forget about as a Western society, that we forget. It's very easy for us to still get parasites in a first
Yeah.
world country. That you can eat the wrong type of food and get a parasite. Anytime you get gastro,
Yeah.
that's basically us getting a parasite. And
Yeah.
yes, we can take antibiotics to like clear out our system, but it doesn't actually get the parasites. People don't realize that. They kind of burrow into our
Yeah.
intestinal wall. They don't just sit in our intestine, they burrow into our wall. So you need to like squeeze them out of the tissues with natural herbs and things like that, which is what I had to do.
Yeah.
I did a parasite cleanse, and then I cleaned out like the extra yeast and candida, and I rebuilt my microbiome, my gut microbiome, basically with like probiotics, Saccharomyces boulardii, and just different types of vitamins. And it greatly improved my health. Like a lot of my sinuses and allergies are gone now. Like
That's amazing.
my skin heals much better. Like every summer I used to get really bad allergies. I haven't had that for 2 years now.
All
And
because of your diet change.
yeah. And I just kind of cut out mainly processed foods and foods high in sugars. I kind of stopped eating the seed oils, the bad toxic vegetable oils and stuff like that
Yeah.
are not
That are
healthy.
processed anyways.
Yeah, it's like synthetic petroleum.
It's a really funny thing that you mention all this, because there's a lot of women, even young women, have like more celiac, more IBS, more Crohn's, a lot of gut issue.
Yeah.
And I want to share a story of myself as well too, where in the past 3 years, I pretty much have like almost like a gas, GERD-like, cough that's went on and on for like 3 years. And I had, like you, I had the allergy as well too, that like every single time when spring comes along, I would have these allergy symptoms, and I've never had them before.
Yeah.
So like you, like what I did was I literally cut out processed food, processed sugar. And funny thing is, within the 4 months, the symptoms went away. Even the growth on my skin, which I thought was like a scare of skin cancer, went away. So like for 3 years, I had all these symptoms.
Yeah.
And within 4 months of adjusting that, my symptoms went away.
Yeah,
Like,
it's amazing.
what are the chances, right?
Yeah, we don't realize that our bodies are basically made of what we eat. So what we eat is digested, broken down, and then slowly pushed out from our intestines, eventually to the surface of our skin. So that's why a lot of people will have skin issues if they have poor diets. And so what we put in is what comes out, and we have to pay attention to that. And people don't realize that it really does make a huge difference on the types of foods and things that you eat. And
it's really true, because the skin is, I think it's one of those telltale signs where there's underlying issue, but people kind of brush it off and think like, oh, I need a cream, I need to cleanse properly. No, really, it's like your gut health, what you put into your body, that created this acne, this pimple, this whatever it is, this redness, this allergy reaction, things that cause it, right?
Yeah, and the creams and cleansers are full of chemicals and toxins and stuff like that too. So that makes it worse, or it dries out the skin or makes you dependent on it. But a huge factor is just drinking enough water or eating the right types of omegas, and like omega-3s and 6s. That will really improve your skin too. I notice now, if I haven't drank close to like 4 liters of water a day, my lips will get really dry. I have hangnails. And before, I used to blame it on like the long shifts at work and it's the dry air. And it's like, no, it's because I'm not drinking enough water in a day. And that's how much of a difference it makes. And we just think it's other things. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's actually true. It's really what we put in our body, put on our body, inhale, and the things that's in our environment, that's actually affecting our health like that.
Yeah.
So what do you think, like what do you think about like the food that's causing also not only our physical signs and symptoms, but about our mood as well too? How is that like? affecting the mood?
So food has a big impact on our mood because the gut microbiome, so our intestines actually create large amounts of dopamine, serotonin, um, adrenaline, like different types of hormones that we never really realized were actually created in our gut, but we thought were created more so in our brain.
Yeah.
And we have huge amounts of these hormones created in our stomach, and these are what affects our mood. Like if you have a healthy gut microbiome, you're less likely to have depression or other mental health issues like anxiety. And so eating the healthy foods with full of fiber, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, those create a healthy intestine as well, and that like creates more of these healthy hormones, which improves your mood. And it has a huge correlation, and people don't realize. And I think it's just emerging more and more now. And if you really do, like, a good food creates a good mood.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh,
Yeah.
good food creates a good mood. I totally believe in that because I think a lot of times, if you think about it, our moods are being regulated by these hormones, and
Yeah.
the hormones that we have is pretty much the food that we put into our body feels like these are the basic foundation to help build those hormones. So like, let's
Yeah.
say if you have a high sugary diet, high fat processed food diet, you're not going to get the proper nutrients from it. So therefore, you don't have the proper cascade to that hormone. And
Yeah.
therefore, no wonder you feel a little anxious easily. You get
Yeah.
a little sad easily, like even vitamin D, right?
Oh, yeah. You have to get out in the sun or supplement in the winter, especially in Canada. And
Yeah.
protein. Protein is a big thing I found for mood as well. We need to eat enough protein in every meal,
Yeah.
just to make sure we're creating the right hormones. And yeah, the hormones are a huge thing, the right types of fats and
Yeah.
proteins is what creates these hormones. And we don't realize we're not eating enough of these, and then that's why we do have all these health issues, starting with like thyroid, and then goes down to PCOS and other endometrial, like.
It's very common, these like PCOS is,
Yeah.
like it's very common among the women population. It's like more common. And then I noticed that I don't know if you noticed, there's a significantly increase of more infertility compared to before, or at least miscarriage and all these,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's
The estrogens. Everyone is in estrogen dominance. Like this, there's so many things, but like our meat is not that clean if it's raised with antibiotics, and if it's it's not. I prefer organic foods. That's what I prefer. And I'll try and find more grass-fed foods and things like that that are cleaner. Whereas our foods even our meats are not the greatest because they're always injected with hormones, and they're not eating the right types of food, and there's antibiotics, and it's just that contributes to a lot of these issues too.
yeah, which is true, but not many people, because of the price of organic food costs
Yeah.
significantly more than the typical, whole food. But at least like even just a simple thing like you mentioned about getting enough sleep, drinking water, and getting whole food in your system can make a big impact. And I mean, of course, if you can afford organic food, which is
That's
that's a
very hard
plus.
these days. Oh my goodness, the cost. That's the other thing. They make the cost of food so expensive just for like healthy food, and then it's the processed foods that are way more affordable, which is why everyone's health is kind of hindered a bit.
It's actually like a systemic effects, right? But like for, let's say, for someone who just a typical 20, 30 years old person, what would they do, like in case, like they can't afford the organic food? What do you suggest, like just for a
Just
meal?
Yeah, just fresh fruits and vegetables work too. It doesn't have to be organic. You're still eating healthier than if you were to choose something that's processed or full of like sugars and carbs and unhealthy foods. You still want to stick to fresh fruits and vegetables. They don't have to be organic. It's just for me, it's a preference, I guess. Is because I've learned so much about everything that I've kind of gone into my own little rabbit holes, and I want to put the healthiest food into myself. But everyone has their own level of where they're comfortable with, and just choosing more fresh whole foods in their natural whole forms, not where they're like already processed and cut up, but when they're in their whole forms, that's when they have the most amount of nutrients and vitamins and minerals in them.
Yeah, that is actually really true. I love it. You know, I love this because this is like, it's not only is it a personal journey for me, but it's also like something that I find that by sharing this with other women, it
Mhm.
really helps them out as well. I think it's actually going to cut down some of the illness that the lifestyle illnesses, like
Yeah,
of a
I
lot
really
of
think
people.
so. It's really a health preventative approach is what I feel like we have to switch from. In school, they were always like, you have to do upstream thinking, but the hospitals are all like, they're already sick. We just give them a medication and then they
And
come back.
ship them out.
Yeah, and they're just getting sicker and sicker. We're not stopping the issue there. That when somebody comes in the first time say complaining of like abdominal issues, you want to figure out what's causing the abdominal issues, not like just give them something. And if we were to teach them then to how to change their diet or the different types of foods or offer them programs from there, I
Yeah.
feel like it would be there would be better outcomes. But it's also a matter of if these people want to attend these things or use these services, but it would possibly create less bounce back or less progression of illness if people were stopped and given like a bit of nutritional counseling. That's
So what are some of the things that you do with your clients, you know, in terms of helping them with their health?
So I'll do an assessment. I go through it's called a NutriBody analysis. It asks a bunch of questions to go through symptoms that people may be having, and it helps me identify where these symptoms are coming from. So it's based on vitamin and mineral deficiencies that you may be feeling these symptoms. So, and it focuses on hormones and where hormones may be excess or lacking. And it kind of helps you fix those problems, which are the underlying issues that are causing these symptoms. I'll also look at a diet journal. I'll ask somebody to fill out what they eat for like 5 to 3 days
Yeah.
and see what kind of foods they're eating. And then I can make them a meal plan to kind of change around their foods and incorporate the types of foods that they do need to eat. And I'll focus on what their 3 main health concerns are, like what their symptoms are or what they want to fix in their own issues, and create a plan based on that and provide them with supplements that might help correct these issues as well, get them eating the right types of food. And then I'll incorporate other lifestyle factors like teaching them how to obviously sleep properly or incorporating meditation or cardio, depending on what they're looking for or what they're trying to achieve. I kind of look at the whole picture and as an individual and kind of create individualized plans with supplements, foods, and kind of looking at their medications and stuff too to kind of create the best.
So you're literally like providing the whole package from what I see. I need to sign up for this. You know, I'm on my I'm on my own journey to healing myself and everything too. And I notice it's not just one aspect, but it's many aspects that we look at. So I think that's wonderful that you're doing that. I think that really helps out a lot of people out there, because we could all use these knowledge and, you know, some of these applicable action that
Yeah,
makes their life better, right? Like, who doesn't want to get healthier?
yeah, it definitely takes, you have to want to do it is what it is, and people don't realize that it's, you have to want to create these changes, you have to want to create these healthy habits and like swap them out for good, the bad ones for good ones, and kind of turn it into a routine that's what you do every day. It's not like oh, I have to do this because whatever. It's kind of like it's a more of a process of, because this is going to make me feel better and healthier, the way you look at it and think of it, you know.
Yeah, I think it's really with the mindset. Like, we have to
Yeah,
really change. Like, let's say instead of weight loss, we got to think of it as if it's like, I am doing this for my internal body. The weight loss will come with it when I eat better, when I sleep better, and it's my health will actually be better. Not so
yeah,
like I need to look good for that vacation or like
right.
that wedding, and then I'm gonna go back to my binge eating of
Yeah.
3 cups of ice cream.
That's true. And that's how some days I end up going to the gym, because even though I've had a really bad day and I just don't feel like it, sometimes I'll just be like, today I have to go for my mental health because I just have too much going on in here. And that's how I end up at the gym some days, not because I'm trying to lift the most weight or trying to get stronger. Some days it's just because I know I need to move to
Yeah.
get rid of all this energy or whatever it is that I'm feeling inside. And after that, I'll feel significantly better.
Yeah. And the simple thing that's just moving your body
Yeah.
really takes a lot of the stress out, and it makes you feel so good. And people sometimes underestimate it. And
Yeah.
a lot of times people do exercise, not only just for the physical, but really for the mental well-being, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what when you're able to know that difference or create the ability like to use working out for multiple things, it's when it's become a habit that you know it's something you need to do, but sometimes it's for different reasons, and it overall creates a better feeling. Yeah.
So she's not only Seetal is like good at what doing, she's stacking the habits. So like getting good health and
Yes.
also exercising, improving mental health at the same time. And that's wonderful. So I think that's all the question really that I have for you.
Excellent.
Is there anything else that you want to add that
No, I think you got most of the points. Like those are the main things I would say everyone needs to kind of incorporate more into their life for an overall like healthier well-being and just overall health. Yeah,
yeah,
and it makes a big difference. Yeah.
it sure does. That makes a big difference. So if you want to connect with Seetal, you can check out her website at www.holistichealthoptimization.com. She's also on Instagram as well too. So holistic.health.optimization. And for someone who's truly passionate about getting her health and also sharing with other people tips and tricks to help them, check Seetal out. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Thank you.